Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to class 3 of How to Afford Everything 101. I wasn't feeling well last week, so we missed class, but don't worry, I'm here for you today. As a reminder, if you are following along in the textbook, week 3 follows chapter 3, which is Other People's Money. This week, we're going to be talking about how to use other people's money to build wealth without falling into the debt trap. Now, this week, we're just talking about debt as a concept, how we use it in the US, and how you can leverage it to build your wealth without falling into harmful debt. Next week, so week 4, class 4, we will talk about strategies for actually paying down debt if that is one of your financial goals in this stage of your life. So welcome to class 3 of How to Afford Everything 101. I am Professor Dr. Darla Bishop. I am the author of How to Afford Everything and a financial wellness expert. So let's dive right in. So other people's money. Debt is a huge topic and burden in the U.S. We have over $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. I'm not even going to tell you the numbers for consumer loan debt, but let's talk about it. So first of all, if you are in the chat and this is your first class, yes, pay attention, but also save or follow so that you can go back and watch classes 1 and 2 as well as the About video. If you would like to register for this course so that you get included on course emails and have access to the assignments that I provide for free download, there's no cost to download the assignments. Go to darlabishop.com/101. Okay, we're getting right into it. So again, this is class 3, Other People's Money. This is the first class in a 2-class session that we're going to talk about debt. So how exactly do you use other people's money? So I want to make it clear from the very beginning, we are not talking about reckless borrowing. We are talking about leveraging money the smart way, because wealthy don't just work for money, they make money work for them, and you are going to be wealthy, right? Fantastic. Tap screen so that I can see some lights so that I know that you're here. As a teacher, it makes me excited when people are actually paying attention and engaged. It helps me be a better teacher. Thank you. Okay, so what do I mean by other people's money? Let's define OPM. So simply put, it's money that you don't own, but you can use to create wealth. So these are things like credit, loans, investors, and even grants. Grants count as other people's money in this context. But listen, not all debt is good debt. Some debts drown you while other debts build you up. So we're going to break it down and talk about the debts that help build you up. So let's say, good debt and bad debt. So debt, especially good debt, is it's a good debt when it's a debt that actually helps you to build wealth. So an example might be student loans, right? If you going to college, going to graduate school is something that will increase your earning potential, then student loans can be good debt. A mortgage could be good debt because it helps you to ensure you have a safe and comfortable home setting. And especially if you're able to buy a property that eventually increases in value, right? Another example of good debt is a small business loan. Small business loan could help you grow your income because you are starting a business, expanding a business, or growing it. You know a debt is bad debt when it's actually costing you money and not contributing to your overall net worth. So things like high interest credit cards that are hard for you to pay off. Car loans for vehicles, luxury or not, that lose value over time. Things like buy now, pay later, which have become incredibly popular over the last couple of years on things you don't need. Hashtag bring back layaway. Okay, I won't get there. So how exactly do wealthy people use debt, right? So if you're like, well, debt is bad, or my parents taught me, or I've had bad experience with debt, you might be like, what is this woman talking about? Debt can be good. Well, let me talk about it. One of the ways that the rich stay rich is they don't just save money, they use money. So here's an example. Real estate investors. So in real estate investors, we're not talking about big institutional investors. I'm talking about mom and pop landlords. So even someone who owns one or two extra properties and they're landlords to families, right? Real estate investors use the bank's money to buy those homes and rent them out. Okay? Another example of how wealthy people use debt is business owners might use investors or loans to grow their business instead of using cash. And so think about it. Some of your most popular business teachers who are also your favorite music artists, people like Beyonce and Rihanna, they take out loans for their businesses instead of using their own millions. Why? Because it makes sure that it keeps their own money, their cash, available for investments that grow and contribute to their overall wealth. Okay, so how do we actually put this into action? Because I want to make sure that folks are truly understanding the concept, this week's homework assignment, this week's assignment that will be at darlabishop.com/101 is actually a reflection exercise about debt. So I want you to think about what are 3 ways that you can use other people's money without getting trapped into a bunch of debt. So remember earlier in this conversation, I told you that there are other people's debt that other people's money that people don't always think about. Grants and scholarships, right? So if you are looking for business growth, if you are studying and in a certification program, if you're going to college or graduate school, remember that grants and scholarships, instead of student loans, is a way for you to have that cost and you're using other people's money. If you are someone who is pursuing higher education, whether it's college or grad school, be sure to check out my ebook called How to Afford College, or go to darlabishop.com/money talks so that you can listen to the podcast episodes where I share the 7 strategies I use to get through 8 years of graduate school with 0 new debt. So remember that scholarships and grants can really help you grow a business, attain education, or even professional development. Don't sleep on scholarships for conferences, for online trainings. I myself am going to a conference in a couple months that I got a scholarship to go to because frankly I didn't have the money in my budget for the registration, but the scholarship gave me a big enough discount from the scholarship that I could go to the conference. And I know this conference is going to be game-changing for me as an influencer, right? Or someone who's starting to get my feet under me as an influencer. Another way to use other people's money without getting trapped is you can use credit cards. So paying attention to very low and no interest credit for growth. So say you're starting a business and you know you need 6 months of lead time to get your product or service started. Using a 0% APR credit card for business expenses when you have a plan to pay it off can be an excellent way to have that startup capital, especially if you're starting a small business that doesn't have a ton of upfront costs that then will turn into income and revenue later. A third piece is the business or investment loans. This is where you could potentially take loans that will allow you to make money because, again, you've been able to invest in your business, grow your business, improve a product or service so that you can increase your income from your business activities. So when it comes to using other people's money, the key is really that you're leveraging other people's money to grow your money, not just to spend it. If you found this helpful and you want to read more about it, remember that you can always grab your own copy of How to Afford Everything. It's available here in the TikTok shop as well as other online retailers. This week we talked about just other people's money as a concept. Next class we'll talk about what to do if you have debt that you are working to pay off. I hope you enjoyed this class. We'll talk again soon.